Welcome to Level Up Podcast Season 2, where our purpose is to help India's youth become smarter and better individuals by sharing successful stories of founders. To help us achieve this purpose, please do subscribe to this channel and click on the notification bell below so that we can make more such videos and this video can reach maximum people. On today's episode, we have Mr. Pranav Dangi, CEO and co founder of the Hosteller, a startup that has created affordable and accessible backpacker hostels across India. Pranav shares with us his insights on how to find the best real estate in a hospitality industry, how he leads a team of 1,000 plus employees, and how he has built a $25 million valuation business. So go watch this episode as it is filled with entrepreneurial wisdom. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Pranav Dangi, enjoy this episode.
The life.
Concept of backpacking is from Europe. Is it
I
more,
wouldn't say that.
prominent there?
So I'll tell you, backpacking has existed probably in every country possible. People have backpacked. So the early traveling that happens is more so on a very solo level, or maybe with your friends, where you are actually backpacking. Backpacking essentially means that you're carrying everything that you
Everything,
need
yeah.
in a backpack, and
Mhm.
you put it on your back
Yeah.
and you
There
travel.
is no suitcase.
There are no suitcases, there are no morning dresses, evening dresses, and
No
afternoon
lounge
dresses.
wears and no
It's
nothing.
a very I would say very concise way
Yeah.
of packing your luggage, all that you need, and then travel.
Correct.
So it has existed, but in Europe, the hostel culture was always there.
Hmm.
India is very late in this particular category.
Hmm.
But yes, India also had a lot of travelers backpacking, but they were staying in guest houses, hotels,
Hmm.
bed and breakfast, homestays, and all those
Hmm.
things. And since 2020, 14, we have sort of come in the picture, changed the entire scene,
Hmm.
and we think that now hostels are one category in the hospitality industry, which is getting filled earlier than the hotels do.
Hmm.
For example, if there are let's say 1,000 backpackers in Delhi, for example, or in Manali, they will first book backpacker hostels. Their first choice of stay would be a backpacker hostel. If they won't get something, then they probably would move to a hotel or a
Hotel or
guest house
resort
or
or guest
anything
house.
of that sort.
Got it.
Yeah,
You spoke about this very interesting point on purpose,
yeah,
that when the travelers come,
yeah,
they probably find their purpose. And that's a very interesting thing because uh, you, you know Simon Sinek, right?
sure,
The book,
yeah,
Start with a Why.
yeah,
So that why
yeah,
is the purpose
yeah,
that most of us are actually finding in some way or the other, right?
sure,
That what are we doing here? Like
sure,
why we are doing.
sure.
So when you started it, uh, I'm sure you didn't have a deeper purpose, is what I
Sure,
believe. But I think eventually it started developing that this is what
absolutely.
you're made for, this is your purpose.
Yeah,
Why did you start the Hosteller?
I'll
And then
tell you.
how did it get converted into a purpose, into
Sure,
a deeper meaning, like a
sure,
fulfillment?
sure. So as I said, I was on a student exchange program.
Hmm.
I fought with my father to go on one because he wasn't letting me go because he wanted me to study in the college that
Hmm.
was there.
Hmm.
But I had a few saving, roughly around 4-5 lakh rupees, and I thought I can
How
do
old
it
were you then?
myself. I would have been 22, 23,
Wow, but
22
having 5 lakh
maybe,
at 22 is good, yeah.
because I had worked with Philips and a few other companies
Yeah, so
before.
some salary.
Maybe 23 I was.
Okay.
So I went, spent around half of it before even leaving the country in URail pass, in the flight, for the
Yeah,
flight
yeah, yeah.
tickets and all of it. Then I landed in Paris. The first week was in a hotel. I had no idea what a backpacker hostel was at that point in time. And I was being charged around 100 euros per night.
Hmm.
And I thought ऐसे चलेगा तो एक महीने में वापस जाना पड़ेगा.
This is in 2013-12.
2013-12,
Okay.
yeah. And I was there I had planned for 4 months.
Hmm.
And I got really frustrated knowing that I'm not able to find anything, let's say around 10 euros, 15 euros.
Hmm.
And I went to the guy at the reception. I asked him, कुछ सस्ता जुगाड़ नहीं है कंट्री में. So he said, go to a backpacker hostel. I hesitantly went, knowing hostels that I've always lived in कि वहाँ restriction होगा, you can't come late and all of those things, but I still went. That was the idea of a backpacker hostel then. Went to the first. Luckily, the couple who ran the hostel had been to India. They loved Indian food. I was carrying some masalas. I still cook. So we exchanged, like it was a barter. When they said, okay, stay with us for 4 days. That's long how I wanted to stay in Paris. And we'll let you stay for free if you'll cook for us in the evening.
Oh wow.
Okay.
That to Indian food maybe.
That to Indian food. I loved. I
So
still
you
love
knew
Indian
and
food.
they loved and you had
Yes.
the masala.
Yes,
Superb.
and they arranged for vegetables and
Yeah.
everything, and I cooked, and they let me stay for 4 nights.
Superb.
I got saved by 400 euros in 4 days. That was something that I was looking for. But that's how I started. Eventually, in those 4 months, I stayed in more than 50 hostel brands, traveled to 17 countries in Europe, hopped on from one hostel to another because I got that.
Kida.
Yes, that chaska,
Chaska.
if you want to say, to stay in a hostel, meet other people. Plus, I was solo, so the entire thing was that in a different continent, first backpacking trip, an international trip, you need a few people around whom you can
Vibe
fall
with.
on,
Yeah, fall on.
or vibe also. So and the hostels provided that platform. There were people from different countries, different continents who were in Europe, and you know Europe. It's a very good continent to backpack to explore. So that's how it started.
Tell me some good incident about any hostel mates in any of the countries.
So I'll tell you, we were in Frankfurt, Germany. I just reached hostel around 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
And at 6 o'clock, they all called us. The hostel people called us to the common area. They were serving free food. Now, when you are at that age and when you are thrifty, you anything that you get free
free mein,
is a
man.
good thing. Like it's a bonus,
हाँ.
right? So we all went to the common area. They served food, free food, but then we did not realize that there was a bar behind it. Okay. So the idea was that they call everyone to the common area, serve free food, but then they open the bar. And then you tend to spend more on the bar. That's how. And then, but the idea, the entire good thing that happened was everyone came together. We had a few drinks, and then we went on a pub hopping walk that the hostel arranged. We went around 8 o'clock, came back at 3 o'clock at night.
Wow.
And by then, like, imagine it was only 2 hours that I had been there, and
Everyone
in the
became
next
friends.
few hours, I made almost 20 friends over there. So that's how hostels work. You won't do this in a hotel. You would not even know your neighbor staying in the neighboring room, adjacent room to yours, until unless you interact with him in a lobby or anywhere. The hotels never initiate such things, but hostels are those setup where all of these things happen. People come together. It's sort of a festival, sort of a small festival, small time festival that's the experience of a hostel.
So coming back again
Sure.
to your
Then I came back to India, joined EY, finished my MBA, joined EY.
वो तो करना ही था
वो
MBA
तो
तो
MBA तो पूरा करना ही था,
पूरा ही करना।
पूरा 6 महीने बचे
हाँ।
थे, और इंडस्ट्रियल ट्रेनिंग और यही सब चलता था लास्ट 6 months.
हम्म,
Came back and I started traveling. Started
Okay.
traveling again to see if such a thing exists in the country or not. And at that point in time, there was nothing that existed. 2013, 14, it was
So that
early
was your
14.
market research.
That was my market research. Started traveling as a backpacker. I was fearless at that point of time because I knew that I've done Europe 4 months solo. Then India is a
हाँ,
uh,
तो सब
is
घर के ही
easy.
लोग हैं, घर के
ये
लोग।
तो घर है
हाँ।
basically.
हाँ।
So started traveling, went to Himachal, Uttarakhand, went to Madhya Pradesh, went to Gujarat, went to Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana,
Punjab,
everywhere. And couldn't find anything, couldn't find the culture, couldn't find the price point, couldn't find good services, good infrastructure,
Hmm.
well spoken people at the reception,
Hmm.
no activities, no events. Pretty much found that everything is very dull,
Hmm.
and even the infrastructure is too bad.
Hmm.
uh, that gave me these two things. I would say affordability is one thing, and the entire vibe, and the I would say the model of a backpacker hostel never existed. Those two things were the trigger.
Hmm.
In a country which is so huge, so diverse, we have deserts and rivers and jungles and beaches and mountains, everything in the country.
Hmm.
And thought to myself, if someone comes up with the idea, people, once they come, they will definitely stick to the product, because the product in itself has a very strong
Stickiness.
stickiness for the customers. And slowly and gradually, after the research happened, and a lot of nights went into thinking how the model should be, what is the correct model, how does the real estate work in the country,
Hmm. Real
would
estate would be a very
it
important
is
factor
it
in
is
this.
it is the most important factor, I would say.
Hmm.
Without a good real estate, without a good commercial hotel, hostel kind of property,
Hmm.
we can't make a very good product out of it, at
Hmm.
the end of it. So all of that research happened, and finally put down the pen and paper, and started registered the firm in 2014. And mind you, for the first 7 or 8 months, I was still working with EY,
Okay.
while I was doing this parallelly. So
Hmm.
we started the first hostel in Jaipur. Jaipur being my capital of the home state,
Yeah.
I knew people. I knew a little bit of real estate guys over there.
Close
Uh,
to, I think, Mount Abu.
yes, and not even so close. I
Not
was
so
in
close.
Delhi, closer to Delhi.
Delhi, yeah, yeah.
Plus, Jaipur being a very touristy
Touristy,
place,
yes.
a lot of foreigners come, a lot of local demand is there. So, started the first with a 5 room property. Today, we operate around 3,500 rooms in the country. So, that has been the journey since the concept.
So, is your family also in business? Do you come from a business family?
I wouldn't
Why
say
I'm
that.
asking this
Yeah.
question is because that you have done your tech,
Hmm.
then you did, matlab, you're a techie or an engineer, then you did MBA,
Yeah.
and you came into a business after doing a few years of work experience,
Sure.
maybe 2 3 years of work experience. So, do you come from a family business experience or background, or like how is it?
Not
Because
really.
no,
So, my father is a company secretary. He has worked
okay,
with corporates for almost 20-25 years of his life.
hmm,
Then he moved on to doing real estate in and around Mount Abu, because uh, he formed a group along with his friends. So
hmm,
they invest small time in real estate around Mount Abu.
hmm,
However, my mother's side, which is my maternal side, were all in business family. I mean, they were a business family,
hmm,
and I think the genes come from my mother more than my father
hmm,
to do business.
hmm,
Uh, I have a younger brother. He works with Kotak Bank.
okay,
So he has followed in the footsteps of my father so
hmm,
far.
hmm,
But yes, I always was inclined towards doing something.
hmm,
I was finding the right uh, idea to work on,
hmm,
and I think the space that I am in, I think it's exciting, challenging. It keeps all of us on our toes,
hmm.
and there's so much to do. There's so much unexplored in this space, and that is what we're trying to do.
Hmm. You spoke about real estate.
Yeah,
Now, this is very interesting, I think.
sure,
How does the real estate mechanism work here? Because
sure,
as whenever you're building, like when it's a store or something like that, or a
sure.
hostel or a hotel, so of course that underlying property or that land and the nearby locality, etc., plays a very important role
Absolutely, yeah,
in your prices, in your demand supply, the
yeah,
economics that work
yeah.
around it. So, what role does it play in your kind of a business?
Sure. So finding the right location
Hmm.
and building the right asset is the key to the business.
Okay.
If we don't do that right, then we suffer on that property if we take that property.
Okay.
And if we do it right, that gives us immense business, immense recognition, immense footfall of the customers.
Hmm.
Now there are a lot of things that goes while picking up the right asset.
Okay.
So we have a team called as the supply team.
Okay.
So supply meaning business development also in basic terms.
Hmm.
So what we do is that we do a lot of research based on travelers data, social media data,
Hmm.
Google search trends, tourism data, and a lot of other things, plus understanding the 10-12 lakh people that we have already served, of their movement
Hmm.
while they are traveling. We take two data points, where they're coming from, where they're going to, so we know their natural progression from one place to another.
Okay.
uh, that gives us the data to decide a location where we want to open.
Hmm.
Now in that location, we understand that we have to be in the most correct location in in the
In that city or that.
area, in that
Can
particular
you give some
destination.
example
I'll
how
give
you
you an
finalize any property? Talk me about.
Sure,
Take me through
sure,
any property that
sure,
you want.
sure. So I'll tell you about Goa. Okay, I'll give you an
Okay.
example about Goa. Now Goa, as a city, predominantly a lot of backpackers, millennial, Gen Z sort of people come to North Goa. Okay,
Hmm.
they go to South Goa also, but South Goa is more of a luxury leisure market, whereas North Goa is more of a party,
Beach
chill,
and
beach, food, and a lot of such activities happen in North Goa.
correct.
So our first, and then this is just a understanding, this is only an understanding of what we know about
This is
Goa.
an overview, a
Overview,
bird's eye view.
yes.
Yeah.
But we, when we have to open something in Goa, we, the question comes, where to open in North Goa, right? There are a lot of beaches, right, from Candolim to Arambol.
Correct.
Okay, but where to open? So we understand our own customers first. What are the kind of customers coming to us? What kind of people we have catered to so far?
Hmm.
And then we understand what beach suits us.
Hmm.
That is done based on a lot of search on OTAs. Like for example, if you go on a Make My Trip, you'll find that there are 200 properties in Anjuna.
Hmm.
Okay, 500 properties in Baga, 500 properties in, let's say, Vagator.
Hmm.
Okay, now which beach to pick up? Where are the youngsters coming? If that area, that region, for example Anjuna, does it have a lot of cook ancillary activities to be done over there, or not? Okay,
Hmm.
for example, Anjuna is hub for a lot of cafes, bars, beach side shacks, and all of those things.
Correct.
It becomes a very good location for us in North Goa to pick.
Okay.
So likewise, we understand Google search trends. Where is hashtag Anjuna better? Doing better than
Okay.
hashtag Vagator?
Hmm.
Uh, are a lot of, there are a lot of mentions of stays in Anjuna,
Hmm.
or is it in more? Is it more in Vagator?
Hmm.
We also understand a lot of travel tourism reports that different publications publish,
Hmm.
to understand if people are flocking in at that particular place or not.
Hmm.
And then we also know that we, in the kind of product that we are, when the price point is less than 1,000 rupees, we don't want our travelers to spend too much on commute. So for example, if our travelers are coming to Anjuna, it does not make sense for us to pick a property in, let's say, Arambol,
Correct.
because people want to stay closer to the activities that they will be doing in that particular
Yeah. So that
location.
the travel
Get
cost and the
Yes,
time reduces.
absolutely.
Correct.
So all of these parameters then give us the precise area in which we have to pick a property.
Hmm.
Then we work with a lot of real estate developers. We work with companies like JLL, Anarok,
Okay.
CBRE. We work with almost 1,000 broker network in the country. Uh,
Who help you in
yes,
shortlisting these
yes.
properties?
Who show us the properties, who bring properties which are suitable to our brand,
Correct.
and then we shortlist these properties. We do a very detailed audit of these properties, which ranges from infrastructure to their equipments, furniture, furnishing audit,
To the
everything.
team that handles the
The
property
supply
also.
team, yes, so they do it with the help of external agencies,
Hmm.
and then we finally zero on that this is the property that we want to pick up,
Hmm.
and then we sit with the property owners, the developers, to
Do
take
you all
that
manage
property.
that property
We
completely?
manage the property.
So your staff will be deployed at that property,
Absolutely,
who
yes,
will be looking after
yes.
that property,
So
and
we
not
are a
their
company
staff.
leased, company operated model.
Okay.
We don't buy properties as such. We lease the properties for longer durations, and then we operate these properties. So today we operate roughly 60 properties in the country, and we have a total employee strength of almost 1,000 people who are managing these across these properties, who are managing these properties. Yeah.
Explain me how this, let's say, like if we take this Goa one property,
Sure.
right? What is the kind of lease that you sign,
Sure.
the kind of amount or the rent that is there, involved,
Yeah.
and then how does a customer find you, and you make sure that he comes to you, and what is the kind of price point are you giving to these kind of customers, if we take Goa as an example?
Sure, sure. So I'll give you an example. We just picked a property in Old Goa.
Okay.
Why did we pick that property? Because Old Goa is also a very good area to be in. A lot of people go to Old Goa churches. They go to Penjim and Fontanas and all that area. They go to Diwar Island, which is right opposite our property. It's a sea facing property that we have picked up.
Wow.
So we pick up properties for longer periods, as I said, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. And we try to come in early in the property so that we can help the owner build the property as per our standards. If there are any tweaks and changes that need to happen
So
in
generally
the
property is not built completely.
So it works both ways, but yeah, our focus is towards building a long-term pipeline.
So that you all can give your vibe to it, the Hosteller
so that
brand vibe to it.
at the start only we can give that vibe to the property.
Got it.
So we enter a little early in the property. We help the owner design the property according to our brand guidelines, and then we sign the leases for longer periods.
Got it.
After signing the lease, we do a lot of changes, we do a lot of installations, we do a lot of brand setup in the property, and I can proudly say that all the 60 properties that we have are very standardized. A customer going to, let's say, Old Goa property or a Manali property would be or can be at peace before choosing us, because he'll know, he has the surety that the experience that I'll get probably in an Old Goa property and Manali would be same. So there is no distinction.
Because that entire system is in place, it is standardized. Your look, feel, vibe,
absolutely,
etc.
absolutely, and everything happens from the central office in Bombay. This is done because we want to standardize the product so that a person choosing us do not have to think twice that whether I'll get the same experience at a place X or a Y or not. So that's what we do. Once all of that is done, we start the property, we place our own staff, and we run the property. The commercials, the economics work basically differently at each places. The rentals are calculated based on the number of rooms that we have in the property, or the other metric is per square feet of area that we have in the property, and the prevalent rates in the area. Based on that, we pick up the property, and we do a lot of number crunching. We understand what kind of demand we can expect at such a property. What would it take, how much time would it take for us to achieve, let's say, a break even occupancy, and then when do we go ahead of it so that we generate at least 30-40% operational margins from the property. Our satisfaction lies when we achieve a 35% operational margin out
this
of the
comes
property.
Out of after how many months? When does it break
This comes even? So we break even in the first or the second month itself. The brand has a very good pull. So
each property breaks even maximum by second month.
Yes. Okay. Maximum by second month. We start marketing the property the day we sign the deal, and we get a 45 to 60 day period.
तो थोड़ा एडवांस बुकिंग और मतलब
एडवांस में हम एडवांस में शुरू कर देते हैं बुकिंग्स. प्रॉपर्टी लेट्स से खुल रही है 1st of December, we start the booking at 15th of September only. So 45 days period ahead we start.
Hmm.
And because the brand has been in existence for last 10 years, people
Hmm.
trust us. We are thankful for that. So a lot
Hmm.
of people choose us without even seeing the pictures, without
Hmm.
even seeing anything. So they trust us in that manner,
Hmm.
and we start getting people from the day one. And I think by the end of second month we break even, and
Hmm.
then it takes around 5 to 6 months to get to a level of operational or
30, 35%.
40% operational margins.
Got it.
But we have longer leases. I mean, once we hit an occupancy, once we see the demand never really falls.
Hmm.
And then we have 15 years to work on that property.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, that's how it goes. And then we are very fortunate in that sense that uh, we when we open a property, there's a lot of buzz that happens, and through which a lot of people join the brand, or I would say experience the brand at different locations also. So each new property adds a certain percentage of occupancy to the other hostels as well.
Okay. How does
Because
that happen?
so for example, if we cater to some new traveler, new guest for us at
Hmm.
old Goa, and he liked the property and he liked the experience, next time, let's say if he is in Jaipur or Jodhpur or Manali or Shimla, he'll choose us because he has experienced the brand once.
Hmm.
So every new property brings new customers.
Hmm.
New customers then flock onto the different hostels that we have because they
Hmm.
travel a lot, and that's how we increase the occupancies of the other hostels also with each new addition.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
I would want to understand more about this business model and
Sure,
the customer stickiness, as you
sure.
mentioned. Before we do that, I want to understand your early days because मेरे को
Hmm.
थोड़ा start जब आपने किया था
Haha,
ना वो interesting है कि
sure.
आपने when you started, what kind of how are your early days of the hosteler? Like talk me through that first 2 to 3 years
Sure.
when the market was not there, when
Yeah,
you were still finding your foot in the ecosystem.
yeah.
Investors नहीं होंगे आई एम श्योर
इन्वेस्टर्स के
तब
बारे में पता
तब
भी
तो
नहीं था।
पता भी नहीं था
पता भी नहीं
2014 में
था। या
यू जस्ट
या
हैड मिंत्रा एंड फ्लिपकार्ट
यस यस,
एंड
दोज आर द
ओला
डेज
और
ऑफ
समथिंग
मिंत्रा एंड
या सो
फ्लिपकार्ट।
उतना ही पता था
या
सबको
या
सो ये टाइम पे देयर वाज नथिंग
हम्म
तो हाउ डिड यू स्टार्ट कमिंग फ्रॉम
हम्म
अ टेक बैकग्राउंड
हम्म
नॉन बिजनेस बैकग्राउंड
हम्म
ये पहले 3 साल क्या थे मतलब
श्योर।
ऑफ बिल्डिंग दिस ब्रांड
तो आई स्टिल रिमेम्बर दिस इंसिडेंट।
हाँ
फर्स्ट हॉस्टल हम खोलने वाले थे, और
जयपुर
जयपुर में,
हम्म
एंड आई हैड जस्ट पास ग्रेजुएटेड फ्रॉम एमबीए, सो आई
हम्म
हैड अ वेरी बिग ग्रुप। तो हमने ओपनिंग पार्टी के लिए सबको, जितने मेरे फ्रेंड्स थे कॉलेज के, सबको बुलाया था,
ओके
और जितनी हमारे पास बेड्स थे उतने लोगों को हमने बुलाया था। सो देयर वर रफली अराउंड 50 बेड्स।
हम्म
सो वी कॉल्ड 50 पीपल, 60 पीपल। ओके। एक दिन पहले वो प्रॉपर्टी के ऐसे हाल थे कि अगले दिन हम उसे होस्ट नहीं, उसमें लोगों को होस्ट नहीं कर
नहीं कर
सकते थे,
सकते
क्योंकि प्रॉपर्टी हम ऑलरेडी लेट चल रहे थे। तो हमने रात भर, हमने खुद ने, एंड द अदर पीपल हु वर देयर इन द कंपनी एट दैट पॉइंट, हम सब ने झाड़ू लगाए, क्लीन किया, सब कुछ किया टू मेक इट रेडी फॉर द नेक्स्ट डे।
हाँ
व्हाई आई स्टिल रिमेंबर दिस इंसिडेंट इज दैट we got hands on,
हम्म
we got hands on to open our first hostel. That was the kind of dedication that was there for this for opening a new a first backpacker
फर्स्ट या
hostel. Okay. The first,
was this India's first backpacker hostel
no, this was the second or third
okay
hostel of India. But then at that point in time, Hostel had one property
oh
in Jodhpur, and one or two more brands had a few properties here and
okay
there. So this was the start. Everyone liked the concept in the initial days. The first, as I said, was in Jaipur. Uh, so what we used to do was work in EY from Monday till Friday. Friday, I used to take a car, go to
hmm
Jaipur,
hmm
reach to Jaipur by 12 o'clock at night, stay there for weekend, come back,
hmm
and then again join work.
EY
Yes,
Monday
on
office yeah
Monday. This I did for almost 40 weeks, regularly,
crazy
without a break, without anything,
hmm
and that all of that happened because of the passion that which was there to host people. Every time a new guy used to come, we used to feel very proud.
क्या
Okay,
feeling होती होगी ना,
someone has
हाँ.
come, someone has come, and
Yeah,
we
it's like,
and that time, I'll be very honest. The first 3 or 2 years, the number of people that we hosted, I remember maximum people from that particular time. Then I remember anyone from the later stage.
now,
Now, because we personally catered to those people. We personally took people on a Jaipur city walk.
अच्छा,
We did a lot of events and activities in the hostel, which I learned over the period of time when I was in Europe.
hmm.
We sort of brought inspiration again and again. I
Got that bonding basically
Yes,
amongst the guests of on
absolutely.
during those days.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And there were a lot of people who came for 2 days, stayed for a month, because they also got. Uh, I mean, they also were staying in India at a hostel for the first time.
Hmm.
I mean, there were no hostels. So the day first or the second or third hostel opened in India, people and especially foreigners at that point in time came to know, okay, there are hostels in India and we can go to these hostels. So
Hmm.
first, I would say 6 to 10 months were all foreigners staying at the property,
Okay.
because they were aware of the concept.
Hmm.
With foreigners, slowly and gradually started coming Indians.
Hmm.
A lot of local people, a lot of travelers who used to travel, who had the slightest of the idea of what a backpacker hostel was. They started coming in, and we slowly started building our social media channels. We started clicking pictures, just basic social media
Hmm.
strategies. At that point in time, Instagram was also not the thing.
Not there, yeah.
There was Facebook. We
Hmm.
used to post a lot of things on Facebook, a lot of event pictures, a lot of things that were happening in the property. And but it sort of grew from there. Then the second hostel came in Delhi, in Hoskas. Hoskas was the hub
When did the
for.
second one come?
Second came in 2015 towards
So after
August.
1 year,
After 8 months.
after 8 months.
After 8 months, because I was living in Delhi.
And were you making money from that hostel within
Yeah, the
that eight
first,
months
yes. So the first, second, and third hostel made enough money for us to start the fourth and the fifth
to give you
hostel.
that confidence कि ये अभी
Yes,
proper
yes,
business बन सकता है.
yes.
It's not
So
just a part time.
absolutely. So the first 8 months, as I said, I was working with EY also at that point in time. But then I left EY the day I opened the second hostel.
Second one. Okay.
And that gave me the confidence that yes, this can be done full time. This has a lot of potential.
Hmm.
Uh, Second hostel, Hoskas hostel, never ran below 95% occupancy. That was the kind of demand that came
This was
eventually.
all organic?
All organic. All we listed on, I think, Hostel World. That was the only OTA that supported a hostel
Okay.
concept. Booking.com and I would say MMT Go Ibibo MMT did not even have
Have that.
the listing feature for a hostel, so
Okay.
we were not dependent on them. So all of it organic. I still remember we used to do when we were uh, building a new hostel. We used to do a lot of hand paintings and I would say a lot of art, wall arts, and all those things. We used to go to the furniture market to procure furniture.
Hmm.
We used to go to the mattress vendors. I still remember the first mattress we got was the shittiest one that we ever got. And we never, I mean, the day we realized that this is the shittiest,
Yes.
we stopped using it.
Hmm.
So all of that mistakes and learnings and challenges we faced, and the first three were very successful. That gave the confidence to do it seriously, because first three hostels were for fun. I would be very honest, because the concept had the vibe. I mean, there were days that every time, every day after 6 o'clock, we had a common room in which we had a PS3 and consoles and everything. So every time,
And
every
that
day,
FIFA
yes,
football.
foosball and pool table in one or two hostel. So all of those. So we used to only create the vibe, call the people to the common area.
Because you all had to start somewhere. You all
Yes,
only
we
had
had
to
to
take that
start.
start.
Yes,
There's no
yes,
guest would take that start.
absolutely, absolutely.
Ha.
So we did all of that. So
It is with this, I remember this one story which Aman Gupta of Boat had shared in one of the interviews or podcasts that जब बोट स्टार्ट किया था उन्होंने ऑफलाइन में when they are just wanting to start at the offline centers with distributors and retailers and all.
Sure.
So in his locality, he used to send, मतलब, when he went to talk to a retailer,
Hmm.
he refused to keep boat because boat का कोई ऐसा demand नहीं आ रहा था. Online होगा तब Amazon में, but offline में there was no demand.
Yeah.
So he sent his mom, wife, friends, सबको उसने वो दुकान पे ही भेजा कि बोट का ईयरफोन है, बोट का ईयरफोन है.
Yeah,
तो ऐसा उसने एक डिमांड खुद पे खुद ही क्रिएट किया, which afterwards then that retailer realize कि अच्छा इसका तो डिमांड है. He didn't know they are his family members.
Sure.
So the founder had to do
Sure,
all those
sure.
jugaad
Yeah,
to
yeah.
get that demand.
Yeah, the
and
early
to
days
get
are
that,
like that only.
Yeah.
For any founder,
For any
for
founder.
that matter.
Hmm.
People, Flipkart owners, Flipkart founders have sold books door to door.
Door to door.
So that's something that everyone does.
Yeah.
The other funny thing was that the parents also were not very convinced about the idea in the early days, because they had no idea. Their kid had done MBA working in a company like EY. Why would someone leave that job and start
थोड़े
something?
hostels में रह के आ गया तो इसको क्या
Yes.
चस्का हो गया.
So the first few till the first few properties, the parents were also very confused. But then at the end of the day, they always supported. They always were there, and then they realized over a period of time the seriousness grew, the professionalism grew, the systems and processes came in picture. Uh, a lot of improvements happened on the product side, and are still happening at the company level. People came to know about the concept. The first few years, the first 5 years to be very precise, were all educating the market that there is something called as a hostel that you can come to.
And till
these
the
are,
first 5 years, you had not raised a check.
no, we had not.
Okay.
The first 5 years were all organic,
Learnings only, sir.
earning from one property, two property, investing in
Deploying.
the other. The first 5 years were the years when, as a promoter, I never took a salary. I was, I mean, so those are the initial days. That's how we worked. And then eventually word of mouth happened. OTA started supporting the product. They built technologies on their end. They gave the publicity. Social media grew stronger with each passing day.
Yeah, internet became stronger.
Internet became, I mean, Instagram took, Instagram storm
Took
came
over,
in the
Correct.
millennial Gen Z audience. Facebook started fading, where newer social media platforms, YouTube grew in presence.
YouTube, Instagram. Yeah.
So all of those was there, and because the concept has a lot of stickiness, people started coming back and back and back, and that's how we grew. Those were the initial days, and
with this
yeah.
stickiness point,
Yeah.
there have been other backpacking hostel companies
Sure.
which have probably not done that well or even shut down. But I think you are there in the market since 10 years. So
Yeah.
that is a big achievement in itself.
Yeah.
Because I want to talk about the stickiness point only.
Sure.
That without the stickiness and love from customers,
Yeah.
ये possible नहीं हो
नहीं.
सकता था. Otherwise, even this company could have shut down,
Yeah.
like others have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? There are only 2-3 now major players,
Absolutely.
including you, Hostel, and I think
Ghost Tops is
Ghost
there,
Tops.
yes.
Yeah. So others have probably shut down
Yeah.
or whatever, right? तो ऐसा क्या factor है which is making the customers come back to you again and again?
See, I would say the biggest factor is consistency. The consistency with which we have executed everything, knowing what mistakes we made, not to repeat those mistakes, to only spread that much that we can handle at a certain point in time, develop a lot of features and services and amenities and other tech around the product is what has got us so far. See, it's a very simple thing. If the property does not make sense to you financially, you would not do it. You can't over project your demand. You can't over project your brand strength.
Hmm.
If you don't do that, if you over project something, your project is going to fail. And we don't really do that. We have very strict measures when we go in the market to pick a property. We
You don't.
don't
You
play
can't get
around it.
emotional about it,
Yes,
saying
we
that,
don't, we are
and
very
get
realistic.
fascinated about it. Okay, it's a beautiful property,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
अगर वहाँ पे demand ही नहीं है, you can't
Yes,
take that
yes.
decision.
And it happens a lot in hospitality,
Yeah.
that there are the first time players, or smaller brands which pick properties which are beyond their capabilities.
Hmm.
And then because the property is not doing well, it brings down the entire brand along with it. One property can do that damage if you are a 5 6 property brand.
Hmm.
So the initial 15 20 properties that we did were all very judiciously done, and all of them, luckily, fortunately for us, did wonders. And that is what gave us the enough bandwidth financially and time wise also, that we could focus on perhaps developing strong relationships with the OTAs, develop our own POS, develop our own website to get organic bookings,
Organic.
focus on the social media marketing, which we have done organically since the beginning, which gets us a lot of customers now. Giving or promising the service to the customer and delivering on it. So we have worked very extensively and very hard on our customer ratings also. Our entire industry works on
Ratings,
feedbacks and
yeah.
ratings and reviews that are there,
Yeah.
right? And we take it very seriously. If the customer has perhaps given us a negative review, our team makes sure that their experience is addressed to, and then we also take parameters to host them back in our brand, give them a better experience, and change their opinion. It is not that if
Give an example of this. Any recent incident that has happened which had a negative review.
Sure.
If not a negative, but
Sure.
just a kind of a suggestion which was not a feedback,
Sure.
which could
So-
have it.
so I'll tell
and then
you-
what you all did to improve that.
Sure. So I'll tell you, we get almost 10,000 reviews every month. Okay. Our negative review ratio is roughly around 4%, 3%. Okay. So we are a 90 plus NPS company. Okay. What do we do is, we have built a very strong tech around it. The moment a review shows up online, it is fetched into our system. We have a customer experience team which picks up that review, creates a ticket, talk to the customer, talk to the staff of the property, understand the entire scenario, and then give a response to the customer about the entire incident. Now, I'll give you a specific example. Recently, only a group of people had an experience. Okay, so we do a lot of tech enabled things. For example, our web check-in is automated, so a person has to. There's no waiting in line sort of concept.
Correct.
People can web
Which you
check
do
in,
in the hotels generally. You
which
have
is
to go to
which
the
is done in the
receptionist.
hotel. I mean,
Yeah.
you have to stand, you have to
Yeah,
sign, you have to fill a form, and all of that.
Yeah.
That is automated. Now, the customers who came, the travelers who had this experience, were a little averse to doing that. They wanted to not use the tag, they wanted to sign and all of those things. And then eventually they stayed, and I would say, the first day happened, the first day went by, they were not very comfortable with that. Okay. But then we got a feedback from our ground that such a thing is happening. Probably if the customer experience team can talk to the customers, they will understand what we are trying to do. And then our team called, they spoke with the guests for almost 45 minutes. They tried to make them understand that through the app you can do this, that. And believe me, over the next 3 days, everything that they did, right from food ordering to booking a cab to go to nearby destinations, everything happened through the tech. And then at the end of the day, they wrote us a review that the app, which is called Glue, made our life easy at the property. Otherwise, every time we had to either call someone or come down to the reception to seek for anything. But now they could do everything by just lying on their bed. They did not even have to move an inch.
Yeah.
So those are
That is
sometimes.
what tech will play a part in.
Yes. So things like those. I mean, you have to understand the customer's pain point, and then you have to act on it in a very prompt manner. We
Especially in your industry, I think.
especially in our industry, because the if you delay your response, then the customer is only with you for 24 to 48 hours. I mean,
Yeah.
if you can't change his opinion, give him the best of the service in those 24 to 48 hours, uh,
He'll spread a
it won't
negative.
matter if you
Yeah,
give
he
it
won't
later
go with
on.
the right vibe
Yes,
or a right
yes,
taste of the
yes,
brand basically when he's checking out.
absolutely.
Hmm.
And in the company, we have a very simple funda that we are not a one or two or five property brand. We are essentially eventually going to become a 500 property brand.
Hmm.
And each and every customer is very important to us, because we feel that if he does not or she does not have a good experience at one place, he is not going to come to the other 499 properties of ours.
Hmm.
So each and every customer at each and every hostel is a very important
Hmm.
customer for us, and we
Hmm.
attend to him or her very diligently, very promptly.
You speak to customers
I
today?
speak to customers probably, if we host around 50,000 customers, I speak to 500 customers every month.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But my
That's
team does
wonderful.
too.
I
By
think that's
yes,
very
they
important.
give us the first hand
Hmm.
experience.
Ha.
They give us the first hand problems, and but it is it is a deed done in for satisfaction also at the end of the day,
Hmm.
that you are connected with your
With the
customers.
audience, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned about the team,
Hmm.
very important and something which is very crucial to build any startup,
Yeah.
right? This team, I think you are now 180, 200 plus members, the
In
corporate team.
in the corporate team, we
Yeah,
have around 120 people now.
120 or
Yeah,
something, and of course you have 1,000 people which
on the
are
ground. Yeah,
on the ground.
yeah.
How do you I'm trying to understand the leadership
Sure,
qualities or the traits, right?
sure.
um, how do you manage these guys, and what are your rules, or what are your fundas that you follow when you are going to manage these people?
Sure.
There are so many people,
Yeah,
right? And of course when you're going to grow from here and scale from here,
yeah,
this 120 would become 500 at one
yeah,
point.
yeah.
So how do you manage these people?
See, it is what we have done in the initial years was handpick a lot of people. Okay,
Hmm.
we handpick like any other startup in their early days do. They handpick. They sit with those guys. They train them. They learn from the mistakes probably each one of us has made. Retrain them. But at the end of the day, the first 100 people are are in the company because of their dedication. They think that the brand is theirs.
Hmm.
That is the feeling that is there for in the first 100 200 people, and if that is missing, then I don't think you form a very good team. So
Hmm.
the first 100 200 people are those who think that the business is theirs. We've instilled that feeling in them that every action that they do creates a reaction on the other 119 people who are
Hmm.
working with them,
Hmm.
because everything in our business is very connected. If
Hmm.
our operations team do not work well, our sales and marketing team suffer, because then they have to put in extra to get more people, because at the end of the day your operations are failing, then the other teams would have to put a lot of effort. For
Hmm.
example, if our supply team is let's say not picking the right property, then the other entire system fails and is not managed properly.
Hmm.
So every team is connected. Every team has to, or every candidate or every employee who's there in that team need to work for himself as well as for the betterment of the company, and
Hmm.
that is what we look in for while hiring a new candidate, or once the candidate is has come
Has come.
and is not let's say productive or not producing the desired results. We sit with them, we train them, we try to understand where what are his skill sets, where he is the best, where he is not. So a lot of inter team movements also happen because of
Hmm.
that, because a candidate might be good in something but not good at other stuff, and but a little bit of realignment needs to happen.
Hmm.
So I would say, as a founder, I found 10 12 amazing people who are leading my teams. So we have 10 teams to be precise
Okay.
at this time in the
Hmm.
company. Each team is headed by a very diligent, very experienced guy. uh, Probably has been with the company for more than 5 6 years now.
Okay. So
Uh,
these are internal people only whom you've elevated as team
Yes,
leads
yes.
or.
Eventually, they got elevated to the positions that they are on, and that is what is the task of me as an individual. If you ask me, I sit with my all of these 10, 12 people every day, try to understand where the blockers are. How can I help? How can I bring in other sort of connects and contacts to help them solve their problems,
Hmm.
guide them with the vision of the company in the next few years to come,
Hmm.
and then they understand. We sort of speak the same language. We have that same affinity towards the brand, that yes, this can become, let's say, $1 billion company
Hmm.
if we all work with each other towards the betterment of the
वो
company.
आइडेंटिफाई कैसे करते हो कि दिस वाज माय इनिशियल ग्रुप ऑफ लेट्स से 40 people,
Sure,
okay, and now you want to start hiring leaders or
sure,
team leads or managers. Now you want to elevate them. How do you identify out of this 40? One is of course they who has been the oldest with you,
sure,
so 40 sorry 5 years or 6 years or whenever you want to start hiring leaders or elevating them. So one aspect is okay, they've been the oldest employee,
sure.
so वो एक
So
connection
time
होता
is
है.
not the only
हाँ, टाइम
factor.
इज नॉट. तो व्हाट इज दैट अदर फैक्टर दैट यू लुक इन दैट पर्सन, अच्छा
Sure,
ये लीडर बन सकता है,
sure.
मतलब ही कैन मैनेज
See,
पीपल
a
वेल.
leader has to be out there. Okay, he has to be, he should be, or she should be the one who takes initiatives. Okay,
Hmm.
like if I take this example, let's say in the initial days we had 50 people.
Hmm.
Okay, probably five people in each of the team.
Hmm.
Okay, but then in those, amongst those 5 people, who is the one who is taking initiatives, who is a problem solver,
Hmm.
who is the one who thinks, who is far sight, who has a far sightedness in his approach,
Hmm.
who understands, who has the, I would say, the educational experience also, the experience that is required to lead a team in
Hmm.
the future,
Who can make
uh, who
decisions,
can make
might be
decisions.
wrong, but
Absolutely,
who can
absolutely.
at least
Who
have
can
that guts
try?
to take that decision.
Absolutely. uh, and this is the same thing that we do today also.
Hmm.
For example, we always as a company prefer to elevate and appraise a guy in his role rather than hiring from outside. We
Hmm.
think that the first approach is always inwards,
Inwards, yeah.
and that is what we do. We try and open a new, so for example, we have something called as the general manager. General manager is the topmost guy of a property.
Okay.
Okay, so every quarter we open 8 to 10 general manager positions,
Hmm.
and we give a chance to our assistant general managers or anyone below that also to appear for an exam, to appear for that qualification criteria,
Internal exam or
yes,
internal.
internal,
Hmm.
to become a general manager, right? And that gives my entire 1000 people staff a motivation that every quarter there are new openings coming
Ah.
for elevation. So they are also very diligent. They appear
This is
in
at the
those.
property level.
These are the property level.
Hmm.
In the head office also, in the corporate team also, we do such a thing that every now and then we open a new position. Maybe it can be an elevation in the same team, or a cross functional team. Probably if
Hmm.
someone has been in the HR team, wants to switch to operations team, and operations guy may be switching to a
Marketing.
reservation team,
Hmm.
something of that those sort. But at the end of the day, I would say that a personal motivation has to be there in the
Hmm.
candidate,
Hmm.
in his own
Approach
is
and
in his own
aspirations.
approach.
Yeah.
And his aspiration should be that if the company is thinking of going to an IPO or becoming a unicorn or anything of that sort in the 5 years, why can't I do that? Why can't I be the leader in that to take the company
Hmm. He
forward
has
in
to
those
think as
five
an
years?
entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
That is the most important skill
कि
set
ये
for.
अपनी कंपनी है, अभी मैं अभी कैसे चला सकता हूँ मेरे
Yeah,
डिवीजन को.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
that makes
these are
sense.
some skill sets that should be there in a individual who works in a startup,
Hmm.
because the individuals who work in a startup should always be hungry and passionate.
Do
I
you
mean,
still call yourself a startup after 10 years?
uh, I don't know. I mean, I would not specifically call it a startup,
Hmm.
but we are a young startup,
Hmm.
one young business to be very
Hmm.
precise. We have just received our Series A round. So it's just the start of I would
Scale
say
up.
scaling up,
Hmm.
expansion.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter if it's a startup, it's a business. It doesn't
Correct.
matter. At the end of the day, we have to grow. Uh, it doesn't matter what people call
Yeah.
us. Yeah,
Talking about this series A, of course, I
sure.
think it was led by V3 and then I think FOW Ventures
Yes,
or something,
yes,
and which was LV
yes.
Angel Fund,
Yeah,
right? So massive round.
sure.
Congratulations on
Thank you
that,
very
first of
much.
all. 32 CR round.
Yeah.
And I believe valuation of 25 million or something, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, roughly around that.
Roughly around that
Yes,
much. Yes. So uh, this is one of the most interesting thing, probably which our audience would love the most.
sure.
Coming to the investment part, I think every
Yeah,
founder wants to understand that part.
yeah.
How did you crack this? What were your challenges in
Hmm.
raising this round? कितना समय लगा?
Yeah,
क्या पापड़ बेलने पड़े?
yeah. You're
किसी के
taking
साथ भी हो?
you're taking me back to a phase where the entire phase stretched, to be honest, quite long. It was a phase of a lot of learnings, frustration, patience, and finally we could crack it.
Hmm.
So I'll give you a background of it. Uh, so we started going out in the market in the month of March 2023,
Okay.
and I think the entry
Oh,
time
one
was
and a
the
half years back.
yeah. So
Okay.
entry time was the worst time that we could think of going in the market to
Hmm.
raise funds. You are aware about the fund.
Winter.
Yes, the winter that came.
Hmm.
That was that we thought that would never go, but then the situation started improving. So we did our own internal documentation. We prepared the pitch decks. We did a lot of thing to get the product in place.
Hmm.
We started thinking even earlier than March 2023. We got the brand profitable on an EBITDA level, because a lot of because the business required, the
Yeah, even the
investors required.
investment ecosystem was such that
Yeah,
now everyone were
yeah.
understanding the term EBITDA
Yes,
profitability.
absolutely.
Otherwise,
And the
before that, it
market
was
was
just
also like that.
yeah.
So I think the first interaction when we entered into the market was negative. The 100 investors that we approached, all of them said the business is very strongly built, sustainably built. It has the scope in the future, and
और वो तब कोविड से भी निकल ही रहे थे, आई
तब
थिंक
कोविड से
थोड़ा निकल गए थे,
निकल
बट इट
गए थे.
वाज
I mean, we were
जस्ट
in
आउट ऑफ कोविड.
yeah,
सो
just
ट्रैवल
out of
इंडस्ट्री,
COVID.
हॉस्पिटैलिटी में अभी भी probably
Yeah.
that focus would
So a
not
lot
have
of
come.
questions around COVID
Yeah,
came, how
yeah.
we survive, what would happen if the same thing happens in the future. The other hesitancy was also on the scale at that point in time. We were roughly I would say a 40 crore, or I would not even 40, 35 crore rupee ARR company at that
और
point in
तब कितनी
time.
प्रॉपर्टीज थी?
तब
दिसंबर 20
around 22,
Jan
23
23.
properties थी.
Okay.
So last 18 months we have added quite
40.
many properties.
Hmm.
So all of those things we went through, approached 100 investors. Most of the investors, unfortunately, that we spoke with were, I would say, if I profile them based on their age, were above 60 years. So making them understand about the
These were
concept.
angels,
Yes,
individual angels or
PE
something.
investors mostly, and
Okay, P. Hmm.
family offices also.
Okay.
But then later half of, I would say towards the end of 2023, we started meeting a lot of young investors, young PE guys, young VC guys, young
Hmm.
family offices. They could then we realized that okay, they are connecting with the brand. That was the sort of discussions that we had
Hmm.
started getting
Interesting.
easier than interacting with a 50, 60 year old VC
Hmm.
firm. Uh, and then luckily I got connected with Arjun. Uh, the initial data that we sent led to a rejection from his team.
Hmm.
Then I got really I would say impatient, wrote a very big ass mail to Arjun that please see it from this point of view, not from the data that we have sent you, but see it from this point of view. he immediately reacted. He We started the conversations again. Arjun got involved. He got really excited about the kind of business that we had built. And then in, I think, March 2024, we got a term sheet finally. So it took a 1 year period
Hmm.
to get a term sheet, and then another 3-4 months to close the round.
The DD and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah,
When you face these kind of rejections,
yeah,
be it your initial days of starting,
yeah.
I'm sure the property owners से rejections होगा,
Sure,
customers से rejection
sure.
होगा. तब तो market ही नहीं था, तो
Yeah,
to get the customers to say a yes
yeah,
was in itself a
yeah.
challenge. Then while you were raising these rounds,
It was a challenge. Yeah.
again getting a lot of
Yeah.
rejections. तो क्या होता है मतलब अंदर
Rejections are a part of life. I would
हाँ.
say to each and every founder that if you are not accustomed to rejections, you
Hmm.
can't survive.
Hmm.
Every time there will be rejections, and then you have to pick up the points that got you rejected over there and work on it. I mean, that has been our thought process since the day one. First day, we went to 10 real estate guys to ask to rent their property to us. We got a lot of rejections. Why would they rent it to us? A newbie guys who do not have a name in the market, uh,
No
no
experience, 24,
experience in the
25-year-old
market,
people. Huh.
non-hospitality, non-real estate guys. So nobody wanted to give us the property. So we
Hmm.
made our ways in all of these challenges
Hmm.
to talk to those people who are not actually from real estate but non-real estate guys who have probably built a property.
Hmm.
So they also were in the same boat. They also were not very equipped with how real estate works. uh, with respect to investors, as I told you, the strategy before was talking to anyone who probably is investing in D2C space, real estate space, prop tech space. But we at the end of the day understood that until unless we talk to a investor who has himself or a few
Experience this
people,
kind of a
yes, in his team
subject.
has experienced such a concept, they would not understand the concept.
Hmm.
And when we started speaking, a lot of
Because
uh,
it is not a me too.
it's it's a
It is
new
a unique.
category,
It's
no,
a
at
new,
the end
yeah,
of the, it's
yeah.
a new category. If I would be running a, let's say, a Bloom hotel, which is a hotel at the end of the day
तो
and
समझ जाते हैं
established,
लोग. हाँ.
तो उनको इकोनॉमिक समझ में आ जाती.
हाँ.
बट
Correct.
हमारे साथ कॉन्सेप्ट एक बड़ा फैक्टर है. I would say demand
Economic
is
समझना.
economy. I mean, our unit economics is another
Yeah.
factor.
Yeah.
So a lot of things. So every time, yes, the rejection led us to questioning ourselves. Okay, the rejection has happened, but let's find out the reason of rejection and work on those.
Hmm.
And the other thing that I want to tell to every founder who is starting uh, is that you have to be persistent. I mean, you can't build a business if you are not persistent. And the per- the zeal to go on every day and go to office and
Hmm.
work. I mean, I still am going to office with the same amount of excitement and happiness that I used to go on the first
Hmm.
day. So you can't, that can't go away. If that goes away, then there's no fun in the business.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
This was not your first check, right?
This was not the first check.
What was your first check amount, and from whom it was,
So it
and
was
how
in,
did you crack that?
sure. So the first check was of 1 million, which happened in 2021,
Okay.
right after COVID.
Oh.
Yes, right after COVID
So
when
someone trusting you during
yes,
that COVID
yes,
period,
yeah,
when the whole travel hospitality industry was, मतलब
yes,
people were though saying that it is shut
yeah,
altogether,
yeah,
to get a check.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So we actually were smart in COVID. We knew that the product has a lot of stickiness, has a lot of demand. Okay, so we were smart in a way that we picked up almost 7-8 properties in COVID at the
सस्ते में,
सस्ते में, at the discount, most
पानी
discounted
के भाव में
price
ले.
that we, because सबको सबको देनी थी प्रॉपर्टी
हाँ.
और हमें लेनी थी. हमें पता था कि जैसे ही खुलेगा and the business is going to be back.
Hmm.
So we picked up properties and we said the same thing to the investors also. So Farooq was one of the investor in that
In
round.
that. Okay.
He has reinvested again. So they knew that these guys are smart. The business will open one or the other day. We picked up discounted price pay properties, and that led to the first big check was of 1 million, which happened in 2021.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
Interesting. Uh, so, after these complete, 10 years of
Hmm.
being a founder and in entrepreneurship,
Sure.
and raising so much capital, 3, 4 rounds, I think you've done
Yeah.
three, four
Two
rounds, two
rounds,
rounds.
to be honest, and one very small round in the beginning. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
around whatever 40, 45 CR that in
Yeah.
totality that you would have raised,
Yeah.
and business now completely on the verge of now scaling up complete,
Sure.
right? What does money mean to you at today's time, and vis-a-vis what it was 10 years back when you had
Hmm.
started out?
Hmm.
So what is how has money, how has your perception and feel towards or look towards money changed?
Okay. You can't build a big business without money.
Hmm.
Okay. And in a business which is, I would say, uh, in the space that we are in, where we need to deploy a little bit of amount towards capex of each of the property new asset
Hmm.
that we open. In our business, money is required. Money solves a lot of problems. Money solves, or money gives the boost to our expansion.
Hmm.
But money is not the only factor. I would say money comes through different channels also. Like, for example, the last winter that we survived was raising funds through individuals, retail investors, probably tying them up with one or two assets of the property, giving them a revenue share. So,
Okay.
a lot of people are interested in the concept. At the end of the day, your business gets you money, gets you investors, gets you
Hmm.
customers.
Hmm.
And because the product is such that a lot of people wanted to try their hands in opening their own hostels. Okay. It's a
Okay.
very lifestyle business. A lot of youngsters, probably of the age of 35, 32, who have saved, let's say, a crore rupees in by themselves, want to invest
In
and
real
open a
estate, maybe in real estate.
maybe open a hostel of themselves. We tied up with, we found those individuals who were willing to invest in such a product, and then through them we opened a lot of
So they
hostels.
also take a share of the
Yes, so then
revenue.
it becomes a tri-party agreement where
Okay.
owner is one party, we are the other operator party, and the investor is a
Investor.
retail investor. So money came through those channels also. But at the end of the day, what do you do with that money is the question. If you
Hmm.
deploy it in the most incorrect assets, your business goes down. So the one thing that I learned, or I still implement, or I will implement in the coming days, is not to get too aggressive with the amount, with the funds that we have raised,
Hmm.
but do it sustainably. I mean, do it at the right in the right assets. Do not go overboard with our own expectations and our own assumptions.
Hmm.
Do it right, and I think we have that skill set now. We have tried and tested our hands and burned and not burned our hands in a lot of deals that we have done. Like,
Hmm.
for example, today we have 60 properties, but we have done almost 80 deals since the inception. 20 deals, those are not there today, is where we have learned a lot of lessons,
Burnt and learned.
burned and learned.
हाँ.
So
तो बंद कर दी
हाँ, वो बंद कर दी है, या फिर we have moved on, we have taken better properties than
in that location.
the 20 properties which are not there.
Hmm.
So we have progressed each and every time.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
And in at a personal level,
yeah.
what does money mean to you back then versus today? ये तो थोड़ा business का हो
See,
गया.
पहले तो कुछ मिलता ही नहीं था.
हाँ.
ठीक है, पहले. सो
वो फ्री
ईवाई
वाला
यूज्ड टू
स्टोरी था,
गिव
वो
गिव
फ्री
मी सैलरी.
फ्री वाला स्टोरी था
वो फ्री
हॉस्टल.
वाला
हाँ.
स्टोरी था. उस समय हमारे खर्चे, खाना पीना मिल जाता था, तो दैट वाज इनफ.
Hmm.
टुडे money comes, but there's no time to spend that money,
Hmm.
right? You are always in the business. My work schedule is 10 to 10 at every day. Weekends are also pretty much like that.
Hmm.
So money is not the important factor, it is the fun. I mean, मेरे को जिस दिन मजा आना बंद हो जाएगा.
You're married?
No, I'm not married. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I mean, it's for fun. It's at the end of the day, we have to have fun with the job. If that is there, money is a byproduct.
Hmm.
uh, and uh, I mean, you only get a few days as an entrepreneur to spend the money
Spend
that
them.
you are getting. So yeah, I
वरना
mean,
तो वही कंपनी में ऑफिस में ही चला जाता.
वरना ऑफिस ही है. Yeah,
Correct,
yeah,
correct. Got it. No, so interesting.
yeah.
We'll move to the last bit of it,
Sure.
which is the rapid fire. And in rapid fire, I had a question which was regard to your marriage,
Hmm.
but now you're not married, so it has taken me aback. But I'll still try to play around with that question.
Sure.
So we'll move to the rapid fire,
Okay.
right? We have three quick questions,
Sure.
very we'll stay quick and rapid, right? So the first one is, if you have a girlfriend
Hmm.
or anytime, or you
Hmm.
do have,
Hmm.
who will be that love, your startup or your girlfriend or your to be wife anytime in the future?
I think it's going to be both.
ये तो
uh,
भाई डिप्लोमेटिक हो
मतलब
गया.
एक को टाइम
मतलब
नहीं
कोई है
दिया तो
ऐसा?
दूसरा एक जिसको टाइम नहीं दिया वो दैट वुडंट लास्ट फॉर लॉन्ग एंड इफ यू गिव टाइम टू ओनली वन थिंग it's not going to happen. So the question, to be very I mean, to answer your question, it's the work life balance that we are talking about. It is very necessary at the end of the day. I mean, right
फिलोसॉफी
now
से
it is not
फिलोसॉफी से आगे बढ़ते हुए
there.
सेकंड क्वेश्चन.
Yeah,
वन
yeah.
वन टिप टू फाउंडर्स पिचिंग टू इन्वेस्टर्स.
Know your numbers. If you don't know your
Oh,
numbers, then there's no use of pitching to any investor. At the end
okay.
of the day, you need to know your numbers.
They
Yeah.
crack hard on that.
Yes, absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And
Eh,
to know that, you can come to LFS.
yes, absolutely. Go to LFS,
Okay,
definitely.
great. Last one.
Yeah.
Which way of doing a business is better for you? A profitable, sustainable brand or a hyper growth, probably burning money?
See, I think if you are in the hyper growth model, you should know the end game.
Hmm.
If you know the end game, probably in a year, 2 year, 5 year, you can see the end game resulting in profitability.
Hmm.
Then you can probably you can work in the hyper growth model. But if you don't have the end game and plan, then it's much better to grow the business sustainably rather than going all in and then all out.
Hmm.
It's not I mean, like in poker, you can't just go all in each of the
Every round.
bet
Yeah.
that you place,
Yeah.
right? You have to know the end game. Would you win that hand or not? If you are winning, you should go all in. If you're not, then I don't think that's the right way to play
Hmm. Fair. Yeah.
any
Fair.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Pretty good. Okay.
yeah.
All right. So, just my last question, Pranav,
Sure.
before we wrap this. What is your vision with the Hosteller for the next 5 years? Where do you plan
Sure.
to take this?
So in the next 5 years, the company is going to be a pan India plus pan Southeast Asian brand.
Hmm.
We see a lot of potential in the coming years to get our brand to countries like Vietnam, Thailand,
Hmm.
Cambodia, Sri Lanka, Nepal. These all are locations filled with a lot of activities, backpacking related feature, I mean services, and all of it exists in this market. This is a
Hmm.
mature market. There are already a lot of hostels in
Okay.
this part of the continent. Uh, so around 500 properties with a mix of Indian, I mean hostels in India as well as abroad,
Hmm.
and we see that the brand should or the company should do an IPO in the next 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
thank
That's
you.
a
Yeah,
very good vision, and also hopefully a good exit for all these investors.
absolutely, absolutely.
No, great.
Yeah,
Thank you, Pranav.
thank you.
I think it's a pleasure having you here. Very candid conversation, and loved your hustle
Yeah,
for the last 10 years. Learned a lot
yeah,
through this conversation, and I hope the audience gets a good learning of how to build a company, how to be persevere, how to be patient, how to also